guys, what's up? Completionist here, and I'm actually going to be following on from my last video, and I did cover the Sunsinger subset class. What I'm going to be doing is a video on the VoidWalker class, because I think this is the most commonly used Warlock class. Now I believe the main reason for that is going to simply come down to Blink, and also I think this is the class you're going to want to use for PvP. So let's get into it anyway. So out of the three primary grenades that you can choose from, first you unlock the Vortex. That's just going to keep enemies trapped, dealing the DPS similar to the Sunsinger first grenade. Scatter grenade, which is my preference, and that's a grenade that splits into many basically smaller grenades. It detonates on impact, and also it has a chance to, with the smaller grenades, to deal additional damage on there. That's your biggest DPS grenade, and that's a grenade you're going to want to use for both PvP and PvE. It works really good against single targets as well as groups in PvE as well, and it just wrecks on player versus player. Axiom Bolt I was using for a while, and I do like it, but I don't think it's got the sustained DPS for the sort of class that you'd be looking for. So in terms of the Voidwalker grenades, you're going to want to go for the Scatter grenade there. Now, the Glide's an easy one. Focus Control, Focus Burst, Blink. Blink, without a doubt, is going to be your go-to choice. The only other time you would maybe use a different one would be if you're maybe farming chests and there's harder locations to get to that require a bit of a jetpack burst. Then you maybe want to go for Focus Burst. But Blink, PvP, you can get right by enemies, right behind them. You can get sort of niftier shortcuts, and it basically speeds up your gameplay. You can predict the game flow from your blinks. Whereas it's great to get you out in PvE in difficult situations, you can just blink past. Also, it's really good for speedrunning. In some of my other videos I've been trying to speedrun some strikes, and basically when you jump and you let yourself fall a little, say you're in a room with a low ceiling and you don't want to blink in case you hit the roof. If you jump in the air and as soon as you start falling, hit A again or X again to blink, it's going to keep you in the same level plane, and you just keep going, you're going to get the burst of speed. Now, Nova Bomb, there's a few that I was a bit stuck on, but basically what it is, it's an explosive bolt of Void Light. Basically what it does is it hits an AoE area blast. Originally it was quite hard to hit, but that's why I've went and gone for the Lance, and basically Lance makes the Nova Bomb travel further and faster. It did have a bit of a length decay where if you were to shoot it without Lance on, it would simply not reach the target or become very inaccurate. And accuracy is the key thing, because it does a lot of damage. It creates that AoE, you want to hit it on target. That's why I went over. So Vortex continually traps enemies. That's not really good. You should be killing them in one hit anyway, unless you're fighting a boss or something. And Shatter, it splits into 3 projectiles. Once again, the AoE is strong enough from that, so you want to go for the accuracy with Lance. Energy Drain, once again, like the Sunsinger build, I'm not really focusing on a melee based build, but with this you can either choose Surge, which is the drain of energy drain and increases weapon and movement speed, which I'm not too fussed about. You've got Blink, so you don't need any movement speed. Weapon speed, it's okay, but it's not required at all. Let's see, so you've got Lifesteal, which is what I've went for, and the main reason for this is if the enemies are getting close to you, you're going to want that extra bit of defense, that extra bit of health back. But that also corresponds with later on. As you can see here, damaging enemies with Nova Bomb or any grenade triggers the energy drain effect. So if you grenade or Nova Bomb, you're going to get the energy drain effect of Lifesteal. So it's going to give you a lot more sustained effective toughness. So it might not show in your armour, but it's going to show through your healing ability. In terms of that, we're going to jump over to the arcane side of things now. This is going to cover, once again, how you're speccing your build in terms of armour, recovery and agility. I'm always going to suggest for a Warlock, you're going to want to spec into armour and recovery. You can always max out recovery easier, but armour you want to focus on. That's going to reduce the damage that you're going to take from anything from a trash mob to the boss. And it's going to allow you to stand out and tank for longer, which basically increases your DPS, whereas agility is just moving around quicker. So I've went for Arcane Spirit in that, and that's just recovery and toughness focus, and it's as simple as that. Now Annihilate, that's the referring back to your super, and what this one does is it increases the size of explosions created by Nova Bomb and grenades. So once again, it's that trilogy there. You've got the Nova Bomb, you've got the grenades, and then you've got the synergy between the two, which is you're looking for. That's the key component. Now with Annihilate and Lance, it basically means you've got a lot more accuracy and the area damage is a lot more. Now with regards to PvP, this is great if you're playing any sort of, like, you capture the like domination, where you capture that specific team flag, you can wipe them out straight away. I don't play too much PvP, but I have tested this build out on it and it's worked really well for me, so I suggest you give it a go. Other than that, you could have had the Nova Bomb tracks enemies. I have used this a lot and I've found that the tracking is pretty bad. It does vaguely move towards, but it's nowhere near worth one of your slots, and you can increase the size and explosions, so that's definitely worth it. The other thing you could have had was the Hunger, and that increases the duration of the energy drain effect. Now this would be null and void as we're not using the energy drain effect which comes with it. As like you've got the lifesteal there, so we're basically speccing in from that, the Embrace the Void. I'll get onto that in just a second. So in terms of our order, we're going to be using the Divine Order. I'll just go over the others first. So Ancestral Order is focused on all attributes, so that's an all-round skill. If you feel like you've got plenty of toughness, you might want to spec into this a little bit, get yourself a bit more increased recovery and a bit more increased agility. But once again, I'm going to advise Divine Order, which is focus trained on toughness at all costs. It's going to increase that armour, increase that effective DPS from that armour. Finally, we're going to go for the last one, the unlock, and it's actually Embrace the Void. And I'll just go through these ones. Vortex Mastery, increase the range of Axion Bolt Seekers, which we're not using, and the duration of Vortex effect of Nova Bomb and Vortex Grenade. So I don't think that's good to spec into. It's not what we're looking for. This build is going to play off PvP and PvE. It's pretty much optimal at the moment, unless they make some small changes or you've got certain pieces of gear that's going to influence it. Bloom, enemies killed by any of your abilities explode. Most of our abilities should be killing them in one shot, so I think that's going to pretty much negate itself. And Embrace the Void, so damaging enemies with Nova Bomb or any grenade triggers that energy drain effect. So Nova Bomb or grenade is going to trigger lifesteal, and once again that effective HP pool is just rising. So I missed this out in the last video, but I want to say a little bit about the attributes of intelligence, discipline and strength. So if you don't know already, the current effect and the percent rate that it's telling you, that's how much it's going to decrease the cooldown by. So I'm sitting here at 89% in discipline current effect. Now that's going to decrease the cooldown time of the grenades, and that's going to be the main DPS source in this. If you can spam them out, it's going to be really good DPS. It's going to allow you a lot more maneuverability because you can basically CC enemies in PvP, by blocking certain doorways or basically navigating the flow of battle. Now, with intellect, that's one that you do want to rise a bit. So I've focused mainly on discipline and intellect, specking in they two, and that is going to decrease the cooldown of your super ability, and that's going to be the same throughout all classes. So I would say intellect and discipline is what you want to focus your gear on. As you can see, I've pretty much spec'd in it, apart from this one here. Now, as I was saying earlier, you might only want to change it up if you've got a certain attribute on your gear. If you read mine there, it says more super energy from non-guardian kills. So in terms of player versus environment or PvE, when I'm playing against bosses and strikes, when you're killing ads or the additional mobs that you face, I'm going to get generating that super energy more, and that just means there's going to be a lot more uptime from a Nova Bomb. Anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have enjoyed it, drop me a little like, let me know. And if you get any comments or anything, I can clear up some stuff in the chat, feel free to comment, I'll get back to you on that if I see it.